Good evening and welcome to the last session of the day. With us today we have Mr. Kartik Sankar, right? And we're really happy to have him here today. He's the founder of Kick-Ass Design, right? And the focus of this session is going to be about possibilities. You know, the world is your oyster, and there are a lot of possibilities to choose from. And I think at everyone's life there comes this juncture where we make certain choices, where we take strategic decisions that really impact our life. But every decision that we take opens up new avenues and maybe sometimes closes a few others. So prism of possibilities, you're going to get a lot of insights in the field of design. A little bit about Kartik, he has over 31 years of experience. A large part of that, he's actually been an entrepreneur. He's currently the founder of Kick-Ass Design. He's helping it grow. He brings a lot of cross-functional experience to the table. Prior to that, he also founded another company called Black Magic Design, where he was again part of the founding team, a creative director there. They were a very premium Marcom design house, and they actually became a service provider of choice for creative design services. He's also worked with a creative hot shop called Left Field. He was with them for some years, and prior to that, he was also working with NIIT. So there's a lot of domain expertise that Kartik brings to the table. He's a very well-respected figure here, also in the industry, I would say, in terms of his design skills, his design sensibilities. He's worked with a lot of brands from different industries, and that actually makes him pretty much like an authority in this field. So we're delighted to have you here, Kartik, and over to you, please. Yes.
Able to hear me? Okay, so with that short intro, I'm very excited to be here, excited for several reasons, and top of the list is seeing young aspiring students passionate about art and design, who are here to explore future prospects, possibilities, choices. So nothing to beat that. And that too, at the end of the day, I'm sure you've had a very tiring day and been through several sessions and getting so much of information. And I'm really happy to see with the same kind of energy you're still here at this time. I'll try to make this session as interesting as possible, because all this is from my experience, our experience, and I do not have a formal background in art and design, but definitely I've learned a lot, I've gained a lot of insights over the last 18 years, and I'll be very happy to share all of that, and hope many of those insights will be useful for you to kind of make informed choices at whatever stage in life you have, or when you are exploring various possibilities or career choices. So I'll be glad to share my experience here. So just give me one moment. You can just escape and again load it. Okay, while that is being taken care, yeah, there we go. So yeah. So the last 18 years, I've had three startups actually in the field of design. The first one was called Left Field, then Black Magic Design, and now Kick-Ass Design. But the founding team has been the same, and there were reasons for these changes and transitions, but it was all in a progression. So let's start. And what I'm going to talk here is look at the various kind of things we did, where we started, and what happened that we took the next step. Some things clicked, some things didn't click. We learned from experience, we moved on. But the key point here is possibilities. There are several doors in front of us. It's just that we need to identify, okay, here's a door, and let's see what is there beyond that. So that's the key. If we don't explore, if we don't experiment, if we are scared to take the next step, we won't know what was there in that, behind that door. So so that's primarily what we have done, and that's the reason we went into several areas. Now, is it good to kind of be a jack of all trades, or should you specialize? That's a discussion for another thing. I mean, nothing is good or bad. It's just that how you take things in your stride, and what you pivot and what you capitalize on. That's primarily the thing. And I've also seen so many shifts in trends over the last 18 years. So for example, when we started, there were no really mobile phones with fast connectivity, and nobody really bothered to browse websites or use apps the way we do today. So when we used to design websites, we used to customize websites big time. But today, there are limitations. But then there are more possibilities which have opened up. So a lot of shift has happened. Same thing the print. If you take print collaterals, what possibilities were there 18 years back? Today there are some fantastic things that you can do with print medium. Similarly, digital. So many things have changed. So today you have all kinds of tools and technology at your disposal today, and it's only it depends on you what you want to or how you want to leverage these tools that you have at your disposal. So it's been an interesting journey, and at the end I'll kind of just try to summarize some key insights that we have gained, and hopefully they'll be of some use to you. So in the last 18 years or so, what have we done? We have worked with over 400 clients, different clients, brands of all sizes, some small, some just startups, upstarts, and large enterprises, multinationals, the entire range. Right from individual entrepreneurs, one-person business, to large corporations. We have seen them all, 400 plus. More than 200 branding assignments. Again, when I say branding, it's a very broad term, but what I mean to say is anything from logo design to a brand identity to a larger scheme of things, or rebranding, all of that. So I'm just combining everything into that. More than 85 packaging designs. Again, packaging of all kinds. Consumer goods, food and beverage, consumer electronics, industrial packaging, and so on. Websites of all kinds, simple one-page websites to large websites, several pages, and with simple information-based websites to large ones where there's a lot of interactivity with or a lot of database interaction happening, or running some web applications and things like that. So the entire variety and range. And I mean, 8,000, 9,000 creatives of all types. Now, all these we've done across industries. So this is the best part I want to just take a minute to highlight. As a designer, I think we have one of the best professions, because you get so much opportunities to learn new things. Because design cuts across industries. Every industry requires design in some form, in some function or the other. So, 1 minute I might be working on a project for a hotel. The next 1 hour after, I would be working on some engineering project. The next day it might be a financial services thing. And post lunch I might be working on, let's say, education or automotive or something else. So you get to learn so much. For example, did you know there are more than 500 sewing machine needles? I didn't know that, but now I know. Because we had the opportunity to work with one of the second largest manufacturers of sewing machine needles in the world. And they are right here in Chennai. I didn't know that. But see, that's the thing. So I get to learn so much about needle, types of needle. You have home sewing applications, then you have industrial sewing applications, you have bags, shoes, all these are made, all of them require needles and threads, but they're all of different types. Then you come to who are you selling these needles to, what are there? So the typical street side tailoring shop might use a different type of needle for your shirts, pants, salwars and all of that. Whereas another type of export industry might be using different things. So you get to learn so much. Similarly, BFSI, banking financial services. I was zero in financial matters, markets, funds, mutual funds, debt, equity, this, that, all kinds of things. All used to go above my head. But we had the opportunity to work with some of the largest financial services companies, banks, private equity firms, large wealth management corporations. And then again, so much of wealth of information, literally. You start learning what does mutual fund, how does it work, how does the market work, and who buys them, who sells them, how do you sell, what is the dynamics in the market. So much you get to learn. So similarly, reality, information technology, I'll come to that a bit later. I'll focus a little more on the information technology bit. But just to sum it up, this is the beauty of being in this industry. You get to learn so much, and you can work with any industry, financial, manufacturing, you name it, design services are required. Now, I'll just take one case study just to illustrate that when you talk about design, art, etc., we typically get a visualization of a person, who is given a certain task. Okay, you need to make a logo, maybe, or maybe a couple of brochures or flyers or something like that, and the person is designing. But it's not that. There's so much more to it, and that's again the beauty. That's again the exciting part of being a designer. You have to look at so many variables, and you have to understand not just your client or the customer or your brand on one side, but also who is your end user or the consumer, customers, target group, whatever you call them, and what is the product, and what are you trying to do with that, and how are you going to communicate or convey. So you have to think from different angles, different perspectives, and then assimilate all of that and put your creativity and thought and ideas into whatever you're creating. So anyone is familiar with this brand? It's a very South Indian, Kerala specific brand. This generation, I'm very doubtful. Anyone? Raise your hand. Okay, some people know about this brand. Okay, this brand is a 97-year-old brand. Okay, another 3 years will complete 100 years. KP Nambudiri's Ayurvedic. It's an Ayurvedic natural herbal product brand from Kerala. So they approached us with a problem statement that they've been around for all these years, so many decades, earlier people used to swear by their brands, everyone used to know, every household, every family used to use their products. But now the younger generation has, they don't know much about, or they don't think this is a cool brand. I'll probably go with some of the larger well-known brands, things like that. So while the awareness is there, but the sales and the general perception is not working in our favor. So can we look at completely repositioning or rebranding this whole thing? So the minute you think of Ayurveda or natural products or something, what kind of a visual comes to your mind? So for example, when if you're designing a packaging or something, you may want to go with a little more kind of beige kind of a side and very earthy and natural kind of a texture and those kind of things. So that's what first thing came to our mind. But then we said, no, there has to be something else, because see, it's a well-established brand. We're trying to revive it. So it can't be drastically different from what it is currently. So we can't alienate the brand from people who are loyal customers. So we looked at a couple of things. Okay, what are the primary elements that we need to retain? What are the things that we can tweak with? And so on. So the first thing is the color scheme, because people identify with colors. So I can't overnight change a red to a completely different blue or something like that, because it will be totally different. So colors will remain the same. Yeah, typeface and those kind of things you can probably experiment and see what works better and what gives what kind of an impression to generally the minute you look at it. Is it old-fashioned or is it contemporary? Those kind of things. Of course, we did a lot of testing and with a small pilot group. But just to make it quick, that was the old one and this is the new one. So if you see there, we still have the same, this thing, it's a very long kind of a word. So it's a very rectangular, lengthy kind of a brand identity. We retained the red and the green, and we removed the full stop, the periods next to K and P, and the leaf we made it a little more contemporary and added a green band and stuff like that. And even the founder's logo, we did a similar treatment. Now you can see that it's a very dated kind of a design. We made that very clean, and because again the thing is, where will these identities feature? It will be featured mostly in print medium. So let's say in packs or products, whatever it is, small size. So if the area is very small, whatever style you are going to go, can I go with a photograph, or can I go with a line drawing, or can I go with slightly something in between style? What will work? And it has to be vector so that the clarity is maintained. Even if you resize, make it bigger, smaller, whatever it is, it should retain its the sharpness. So all these factors were considered, and finally this is what was finalized. Now again, same brand. That was on the left is the old product, and the one on the right is what we have designed. It's now in the market. So you may find it in Eateries and some of the bigger supermarkets here. Now again, this was their best-selling product, so we didn't have too much of a thing to tweak. We had to still retain what was there and leverage that. We did a couple of things. One is the position of the brand. We selected a placement that would work best with all their product lines. Then the name of the product, the variant, and what is the unique selling proposition of that. So we created an architecture so that whatever is the product, it should follow the same thing, so that there's consistency in the way the messaging is conveyed. So here we have the brand name, what is the product, the variant, and And of course on this side we have some of the key benefits and so on. Again, you can see the drastic change from the old one to the new one. So here we had another problem. If you notice the brand, very small, and it's a long word. So when you shrink it to that size, you can't read it. And when it's there on the shelf somewhere at the bottom, there's no way you can really read the brand name. So we decided for some of these kind of products, let's change the orientation to a vertical format so that it solves the problem of the size, the width, and it will be different in the shelf and you can clearly see. And of course again we have the same the name and then the USP, and on the side we have the other benefits and so on. So the hierarchy is very clearly defined for all products. Just one more example before we move on. So again, you can see the name is so small, whereas here we have it very prominent, and we changed the shape of the bottle and made it more contemporary. And again, the name, then what is the purpose, the benefit. Benefit is this, and then what are the other? So everything comes clearly on the packaging. And since this is a very price sensitive market, we thought we could even add the price right there, so that there's more affinity for the brand, so for someone to pick it up. So this is the thing. Now, the point here is, we've not just taken an old design and created a new design. It's very easy to do in half an hour. But the thing is, you are working in a live market. The market has to accept this change. The change has to be, it can't be sudden, because primary target group for this brand is, let's say, our parents group. And we are trying to get the young next generation to adopt this brand and carry on, and so it has to appeal to both generations. So that's a challenge. The familiarity has to be maintained, yet a more contemporary rendition has to be done so that it competes with all the other products in that category in the market, and also youngsters can give it a try. So that was the... Okay, so now we move on. So that was just to illustrate that there are so many factors that you need to consider before anything, and it's not just a simple brief that okay, we need a new logo. It's not just that, but you have to kind of get multiple perspectives. Branding. So let's talk about branding. Logo design. I think we already had a lot of discussions earlier. What is a good logo? It's a highly subjective area, and we have had all kinds of experiences with customers. So how many options do you give? So every time we have a thing, my colleague and I, we place a bet. Option 1 or option 2 or 3, which one do you think? So we always give a, what do you call that? I'm not getting the term. We usually give 2 and 1 extra, and that 1 extra is basically we know it is so horrible that they will not choose it. There's a term for that, I'm not getting it. So that's more like a distraction option. They'll choose between one of these 2. And some clients, they do want, can we see some more, or can we do a mix of this and that, all kinds of things. It's a long discussion, we'll keep that for another day, but it's very interesting. Always the first 2 options we tell clients are choose from that, because that's where we have spent most of our creative energy into it. All kinds of discussions. Before we arrive at those 2, we would have done probably 10, and then debated, deliberated, and then came down, narrowed down to the 2 best, which we think is really good for the brand. Of course, it depends on the client, what they want to. We put our case forward, we try to reason as to why we chose this and all that. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, it's okay. So yeah. So creating brand identity, and these days there's another interesting thing that is happening. See, earlier, mostly you would see these brands appearing on print collateral, maybe company brochures or business cards, letterheads, and things like that. But today, everything is digital, right? The first thing you do is take your mobile phone and go to their website and check out things, or use that app, or browse products, and that product will have a small logo somewhere. So today it's all digital first. So you would have seen a lot of examples of brands like Pringles, for example. They have changed. Dunkin' Donuts have changed, and there are a lot of brands. They've made it minimalized. They have changed it. They've made it simpler. Their logo, like the Pringles, it had a big mush with 3D kind of things and all that. But today it's all flat, simple color, reduce the number of colors, clean design, and clean lines. That's what. So it's called debranding. Reducing this thing, removing all unwanted jazz, and making it clean and sharper and easy to view even in a small display size. So debranding. Then rebranding is also there. There are a lot of plans they come for. I think it's time to change our brand identity. There could be several reasons, but yeah, that's again. So again, you need to see whether they want to carry some legacy forward, or whether they are pivoting to some other line of business, in which case you may want to experiment something new and contemporary. So those decisions you'll have to take. So yeah, print collaterals. So earlier we used to do tons of these brochures, flyers, and a lot of printing used to happen. Today it has decreased, but everything is PDF files and digital format. But that doesn't mean the print industry is dying. There's a lot of applications where print is required, and then that's again a very exciting area. It's a very technical space, and there is so much of advancement in printing technology, in the kind of mediums that you use, the papers and the boards and stuff like that. There's so much that goes into selecting the right ink and the mixing, the process, and so on. So that itself is a very detailed field of study. So printing technology, print. So again, designers. There are some designers who specialize in print media. So that's a big. So we learned a lot from these various assignments where we had to do for printing. So again, a lot of variables are there. You need to consider how big is going to be the print, how small can it get, what are the factors that might distort. If it is, let's say, something that you're going to be using indoors versus something that you will be putting up outdoors. Outdoors, what are the other variables? Direct sunlight, dust, pollution, rain, all those kind of things. So when you see it on the monitor, it looks great, but will that stay the same in a week's time? We don't know. So you may have to alter some things to ensure that the quality of print outside looks as good as what you're seeing on the monitor. So print is another big area. We have worked on a lot of brands. I'm sure everyone recognizes this brand. This was really fantastic. The reason I'm showing this is their standards and specifications are so detailed that for us it was a big learning thing. Because for us, okay, create a flyer, we have images, we have the copy, create a couple of layouts, designs, all that. But here, the amount of technical specifications that they follow, that was mind-boggling. And the quality of print, paper, and the font, the size, the spacing, all kinds of things. And that's standardized across the world, across their product lines, across their group companies. So it's very interesting. We've been working with IndusInd Bank for a long time, and over the years we've created a lot of collaterals for their consumer finance division. And you can see a lot of these kind of things in their bank branches. So, right from posters, standees, hangers, tent cards, and all kinds of stuff. Okay, then websites. So we started doing print collaterals, brand identities. Then everyone said, okay, that's when slowly almost every company started having their own website. This I'm talking about 18 years back. So we said, yes, website is something that we need to learn how to build and how to code. And so the best way we learned is we go to a website, click view source, and see what coding is there. Okay, then we try to save it and then mess around with that and see what happens. So that's how we experimented and learned. That was interesting. And we started specializing in highly customized branded websites. No templates, no this thing, but for your brand, for your requirement, we'll create to the the last pixel. That kind of a precise measurements and stuff. But later, we were in trouble because mobile started coming, and when you see that website in a mobile, half of it will not be visible, and all kinds of stuff started happening. So there again, we had a problem because I didn't know how to code for responsive frameworks. So again, we had to learn what is responsive coding, what platform, how do you leverage your CSS files and things like that. So sometimes your boundaries will go. I can't say I'm just a designer. I know how to design, but I don't know this website thing. The thing is to seize that opportunity and go that extra mile, because today everything is again coming together. So everyone has to do all kinds of things because tech is also enabling us to do so much more. But at the same time, you have to explore new platforms, new applications, and see where you can push your boundaries. Right. We started doing websites, and then we started also doing mobile application, not the coding part, but UI UX. So again, UI UX is a big term. Everyone say I'm a UI UX designer, but what exactly is it? See, the thing is, it's not just creating a splash screen, create a login screen, and then you know these are the steps and these are the options, these are the features that you provide. But I'll give you a simple example. You have Amazon, you have Flipkart, right? Two of the majors. You have Swiggy, you have Zomato, right? All of us use one of these two. Now, I'm sure all of us have some preference. Like, you would choose one of them more, or this is your preferred app. It's either Amazon or Flipkart, or either you're a Swiggy guy or you're a Zomato girl, right? So now, why did you make that choice? It's not because their service. Okay, those might be some variables, but the thing is, it all comes down to ease of use and ease of navigation, or ease of reaching what you want to select in the most simple and least number of steps. So that's the critical thing. So if you have to select something, what is the best method of selection? Is it a drop box? Is it a slider? Is it a wheel? What is more intuitive? It's not about creating something nice and fancy, but that's again sometimes it may create problems, and you have to first figure out how to use this app. You have to figure out what needs. So there's a learning curve. So that's a deterrent. So you have to keep it simple. You have to keep it intuitive. If you give some newbie and ask them to select a product, how easily that person will be able to navigate and select. So that is the user interface and the user experience. So here at this point, let me tell you another skill that you need to probably develop more is empathy. Now you might think, what does empathy have to do with design and art? So it's a very big thing, because that will place you in the other person's shoes, whether it's a user, customer, or whoever it is, and you will be able to appreciate some things, some nuances that otherwise you may not be able to, you might have probably missed. So always do some research, do some learning, see what is the big deal about that product or what is the problem, and see how to solve that. So once you have that cap, then you will be able to get ideas that will facilitate you as a user to use this more easily. So okay, so that's about websites and mobile, etc. Then we started doing a lot of videos, corporate videos, learning videos, and multimedia stuff, educational things, corporate intros, product videos, all kinds of things. So multimedia is a big, again, another door is multimedia. So multimedia, again, so animation, 2D animation, 3D animation, and then of course there are so many advanced things of types of filming and all that. I'm sure many of these colleges and universities that you interacted with today, they probably have in their curriculum. So multimedia is again a big field, tremendous opportunities. Okay, before we move on, just one more point I wanted to highlight here. It's more than the visual part, the content is also equally important. See, what you're doing as a designer is, okay, here is a brief, here is a problem statement. You're trying to, so on one hand you have the product or the customer or the brand, on the other hand you have the end user or the consumer or the person who's going to be using or interacting with that brand or product, and you are the bridge in between. You are trying to figure out the best way that this can be facilitated to this product, this person or consumer or the community. So you might be looking at what is the best way to convey this. So you use your ideas, imagination, and create fantastic design, etc. So that is the how you are conveying it creatively. But the most important is what you are conveying. That is also equally important. So the message has to be very relevant. The message has to be relevant to a very specific persona, the end user. That's again very important. So that we figured out works is very important in the technology industry. So this was one of our first emailers that we did for Microsoft. Long back, they used to have a event called Tech Ed. It was a premium event, 3-day event, paid event, and it was like one of the most sought after event. All these tech guys used to go and attend, and it's almost like I've been to Tech Ed. That means you have a halo on over your head. So it was that important. But now the thing is, that was a paid event. It's not a free event. It was a paid event. At that time, I think it was about 7,500 or something, 18 years back, which is a big amount, especially for freshers who are straight out of college, who have joined some tech company, and they want to attend Microsoft Tech Ed because they know it's a stepping stone to a much more successful career. But 7.5K is a big amount for them. So the challenge is, how do you get registrations, participation? How do you convey that the money is secondary? Tech Ed is the one you need to attend, and that's going to be your first thing, and you cannot afford to miss it, kind of thing. So now Tech Ed has participants of various profiles, right from freshers, developers, then team leaders, architects, software solutions architects, project managers, delivery heads, and so on. The entire profile, the entire crowd comes to Tech Ed, and there are different sessions for different profiles. So the key here is you have to, the copy has to be created such that, it has to be crafted such that you're talking specifically directly to this person. And to that person, this should make sense. So, for example, what we said is, those who swear by it those who have swear by it. That is, those who have attended, they swear by it. So it's also like peer inspiration. You know your colleague or someone else or has attended the previous year, and you know it is something that you cannot miss. And they swear by it to the extent that they even have a tattoo on their arm, kind of a thing. And of course, the copy you cannot read, but the copy very clearly talks about why it is, how it will help you, kind of thing. So, content is very. If we had created a mailer which says TechEd from 15th to 18th January, so and so venue, and come learn new technologies, network with people, etc. It may not be as effective as to you have to communicate what is in it for you. So that's important. This is another example. I don't know if you are familiar with the brand called Sybase. Long back, Sybase was one of the leading developer platform tool. Sybase. So everyone used to work with Sybase. After a point, Oracle came, and then Sybase, slowly the technology started changing, and then many people started moving away from Sybase. After several years, I don't know what happened, then there was a stage when Sybase was reviving, it was coming back, and came back with a much more powerful platform. So the challenge there was to connect with people. Now, who are we talking to? We are talking to people who at that time were users of Sybase, who after 10-15 years are probably now project managers or something. They are much ahead in their career. But so we have to talk to their psyche. We have to talk to their emotion. Remember those good old days? That kind of a thing. So what best than using the Royal Enfield Bullet? Bullet has been there for ages. Bullet, the minute you say it, people have fond memories, people have all kinds of affinity to the brand, and and what we are saying is only a few stand the test of time. And we are saying, and the copy reads like, remember good old days where Sybase was the thing, and you was blah blah blah. And so now they are reintroducing Sybase, bigger, better, all of that, and come rediscover Sybase. So you're talking. You have to find out who exactly you are talking to. Understand that persona. Who are they? What is their age? What is their experience? What is their academic kind of exposure? What are they currently working on? So will they be biased again towards something? Is that some myths that you may have to burst? So you have to understand all of that, then start creating. Then you will have something which will hit the bullseye. Just another example here. Again, another example. See here, Intel. Now here, Intel. The minute you say Intel, you associate them with Pentium chips, and they are a chip maker. But they have a very solid software division, which a lot of industry people also were not really aware. And this mailer was to promote, at that time there was a thing of parallel programming. So again, the copy will talk specifically about why this matters for you. Okay, now we move on to another door that opened up. So you have a lot of these expos, trade shows, and exhibitions and those kind of things. So we said, yeah, why not? So it's again a platform where brands are interacting with the end users, right? So that was another door that opened for us. We started working on spatial design, booths and all kinds of very fancy stuff. This is just one example we did for that. So there again, so many things that you need to consider when you're designing a spatial a solution. How many people will be there? What are they going to be coming there for? What are you going to show something? Are you going to demo something? Or are you going to just display? Is it a floating crowd, or is it going to come here, spend some time interacting, and then they will go? What is the direction of flow? And so many other things. So this is again a very interesting space. So we started also getting into interior design by extension. So we got some projects where we have new facility. Can you design something nice for a reception, for a cafeteria, for a boardroom and stuff like that. So that's again a different interior design is again a great avenue for designers to pursue. There are limitless things that you can do in interior design and spatial design. Again, commercial, residential, mixed kind of a use space. There's again so many things. Okay, we have also done product design. I'm not an engineer, but we look at it as there's a problem, and as a designer you need to come up with some sort of a solution. Of course, you cannot do it alone. You have to work with a team with different experiences and expertise. It's a teamwork. But now here, this was that was a kind of a router, modem kind of a device, and this small one is a plug point. So this is a solution that monitors your energy consumption in a residence or in a big factory or industry kind of a thing. So you plug this into a socket, and then you plug your other appliances into it, and this monitors the entire energy consumption, reduces wastage, you get a dashboard, you get all kinds of things, etc. Now the thing is, the R&D team had developed the product. Now they wanted a form factor. How should we package this product? What kind of a box? It should be functional, but it should also look good, right? So there, again, as a designer, you have to start thinking on, okay, who is the user? What kind of a situation or place will this product be used? Is it indoor? Is it outdoor? Will it be placed on the table, or will it be hung on the wall? Right? So many factors are there. Then, will it be something which is you fix it on the wall and you forget about it, or is it something that you will have to constantly see or monitor something? If that is the case, it has to be at eye level. Are there LED lights or displays or those kind of things? Yes or no? If yes, then wherever it is kept, whether it's horizontal on the table or on the wall, the light should be visible, because you can go and peep and then see whether, okay, green light is on or off. So that is it. Then I have to find out what are the components inside which generates heat. So can you keep those components separate so that I can create a ventilation for that? Again, when you talk about ventilation, will it be kept horizontal or vertical? So if you keep vertical and you have those lures on top, then the dust will go inside, right? So all these considerations you have to think through. So if you see, there's a curve kind of a thing, and there's instead of a small dot with a LED light, we created a slit, so that in that angle, whether you keep it this way, that way, you can still see the light from a distance. And of course, the lures for thing, etc., were placed in such a way that it could manage the entire product. And we also did packaging design for this. That was again a very unique shape we created, because this is actually a plug. You can't see the this thing on the other side, it's facing the other side. Now, see what happens is, when you have a product like this, which is basically rectangle, and then you have 3 plug points on the other side. So the package has to accommodate the entire product. Now what is happening here, if you see, you have the 3 pins which are jutting out, but below that it's free airspace, there's nothing, but you still need a big box because the entire product has to be accommodated. Now, you have to start thinking of, this many products, now they will be sending it to their distributors in a box. That box will contain 12 or 20 or whatever number of boxes. Can you optimize that? Can you pack in more products in the same box so that you use your logistics in a more efficient manner? So you have to think on those lines also. You have to go beyond and start thinking of all possible variables. So that's the best part of being a designer. You have to kind of think of all possible scenarios. So we created something like a triangle-ish kind of a thing, where you can stack two boxes this way, this way. So in the same space, earlier you could stack only, let's say 6, but now you can stack 9 of these. So things like that. Okay, talking about packaging design. Packaging design is a huge area. It's a lot of opportunities. It's a specialized area by itself, and all the more today because now we are going into a more environmentally conscious era. Whatever packaging we see, we want to make it more recyclable or more sustainable or reusable or whatever. So there's again a confluence of different disciplines. You as a designer, you are thinking about the product functionality and what it communicates. You also have to think of what material should we use, and then we have to talk about how that material, your choice of material will determine the function. See, packaging, there are 2-3 functions. It has to protect the whatever product it contains, right? It has to protect that. It also has, it acts as an opportunity to convey what this is, the brand, and communicate to the end user. So your visual aesthetics and all of that come into play. Then you also have to see whether this product is a powder, is it a metal, is it light, is it heavy? There's so many things. Again, is it a product, premium product or functional product? Is it something that you want people to touch and feel before they buy? You would have seen a lot of toys, etc., which have, you can feel the product actually. Or should it have a window so that you actually see what is there inside, although you cannot take it out. But so many things. So packaging is a very exciting area. Again, packaging you have for food products, you have for consumer durables, you have electronic items, and then there are a lot of standards that govern these packaging designs. So packaging is a vast area. So that's again a big world in itself. Just some examples, I will move quickly. Okay, this, I'll just take a minute here. This is that needle thing that I was referring to. 5 minutes, yeah. This is the needle thing that we are referring to. Now, this is one of the largest selling needles for general purpose domestic tailoring thing here. Now, the challenge was in a typical store, the person will just keep this stack of things somewhere under the table or somewhere in one shelf, etc. So there was never an opportunity for the brand to be present in front of the buyer. So we said, let's look at it something that the person will find it easy to store these needles. At the same time, can we create something that will make him, convey the brand to the end user, and also find it convenient. And when people see the brand, they are likely to probably make repeat purchases. So it works for both ends. So we created this kind of a box where we stacked all these needles, and we opened it from the long side instead of usually you will open it this way, but we opened it from the longer end, and we created a sort of punch here, which when you open, it will fold and you can tuck it in. So it's like a mini standee. So then we found people liked it. One thing, it was novel. Second thing, it was convenient to stack all these needles, and it will just occupy one small space in a corner of a table. And you can see the brand, and you can see the all the other details. Again, so this is more of a consumer product. So here, what kind of a box we use, what is the size we use, and what kind of an imagery we use. It has to be tempting, it has to show realistically what is the product inside. And then if there are variants, you need to see what color scheme you want to go with, what goes with. So that one is apple, and this one is oats and honey. Okay, this is for, you may not have seen this here. This we did for a company which is based in Calcutta, and the market was West Bengal, Orissa, West Bengal, Bihar and Jharkhand. So there again we learned so much. See, we went from our mindset, a product like this should be like this. If it's for children, it should be like this. If it's a typical biscuit packet, it will be like this. If it's a salt biscuit, if it's a cream biscuit, if it's a this, that, generally you have seen all these products all around us. But when you go to a different market, forget Chennai, forget Delhi, Bangalore, Bombay, when you go to smaller towns, the dynamics is totally different. It's such a learning experience to get insights. Now the thing is, they were introducing these products with added nutrition. So when you add nutrition, there are two challenges. You are adding to the cost. Yes, whatever you are adding, it costs. But if it's a 5 rupee chota biscuit packet, you cannot make it 650. It's not the right price point too. So how do you still maintain that 5 rupee price point, even though you are adding some additional nutrients? So that there the challenge is, obviously you have to cut down on the product. Instead of 100 grams, you probably give 97 grams, right? But there's another challenge. When they see 3 of these different brands, you cannot make the packet smaller because they will say, this is a bigger packet, I think there are more biscuits in that, so I'll buy that, right? So those kind of things, because it's a very price sensitive market. Then familiarity. So people will generally come in villages. I've seen children will come and say, "Oh, lal wali packet dena, give me that red packet." So for them that is the identifier. The red packet, they know the stuff is good, they know they get more biscuits, they know it is more. Then the other thing is, how do you convey the additional nutritional value? So we say that it is good for mind and body and all these kind of things. And of course, we have to work within the regulations. You cannot claim that you become super brainy, intelligent by eating this biscuit. There are guidelines for that. So how do you pack all those information? 8 extra vitamins and minerals, those kind of things. But at the end of the day, you have to still maintain the competitive advantage of that product, conveying the extra things that this product brings, but yet making it easy for the average person to go and pick it up from the shelf. Okay, we are almost there. So this is some recent development. Last year we started pivoting towards NFTs. All of you know, this generation knows cryptos, NFTs and everything. So we said, okay, we are a design firm. We can do art, we can do some nice stuff. Let's pivot and say, hey, you are looking at whatever brand, you're looking at creating NFTs for your brand. We bring the art expertise into it. We will help you create NFTs for your brand. So again, deep dive into internet, hours and hours of videos, YouTube videos, learn all this, what this is all about, try, invest some, play the game, see for yourself what this is all about, what are the steps, what are the pain points, why, what will make it easier for brands to go for this, or what are the variables that you as a consultant need to place before them, saying, okay, here are the good things, here are also the riskier part, but it's your call, kind of a thing. But again, the point is we pivoted to this. Now we are also starting to work on some Web3 applications and on the doorstep of the metaverse stuff. So we've got 2 projects currently we are working on. So again, tremendous learning curve, but we know that's the direction things are heading. So you've got to be there. Okay, so what are the takeaways, if I may just summarize? One is keep learning, never stop learning. Keep learning, keep new, explore new things always. Adapt to changes, because change is constant. There's no escape from change. Change will happen. You have to keep adapting to it. And how you adapt? You have to learn to adapt. Explore new opportunities. Right? spoke about the doors. One door opens to branding and design, another door opens to web and mobile and all of that tech. Other door opens to packaging design, another door interior design, another door product design, another door NFTs and some of these new age opportunities. So the thing is, always keep your eyes and ears open, and don't be afraid to open a door, because you never know what is there. If you don't open, you will not know what was there, what did you miss. So do that, and pivot when you have to. Pivot is like you leverage something that you are good at, and then you use that to get into something new, or use your expertise to go into a new area, kind of thing. Be agile, always be up and running, and do things fast. Don't keep procrastinating or okay, let me see whether I want to do this, or let me see. No, not that. Be agile. This is the time to be agile. Take risks. Nothing will happen. Don't be scared. Take risks. Learn from failures and move on. So we also did a couple of things which didn't work for us. There's no point brooding over that. That's a learning. Use that learning and move on. And this is very important. Be open, honest, and trustworthy. Most of our clients have come through referrals. I've not had any marketing. I've not done any of these things, because when we talk, our thing is, okay, kick-ass design guys, they are very frank and open. If it's possible, they'll say it's possible. If it's not, they will say it's not. Or if there's a third alternate way, they will propose that. So the thing is, don't get influenced by what you think the client wants, so let me give what they want, kind of a thing. Place it very objectively, and be very open, and that will bring back the karma in a very long run, because you will be known by your character. You will be known by that designer is good. That designer will always tell me very clearly what are the possibilities and what are the things. So it is very important here. So I leave you with these 4 thoughts. Dream big. Whatever it is, it's a dream, but dream big. You will work towards that. Work hard. There are no shortcuts. Work hard. Make mistakes. It's okay to make mistakes. Everyone learns. Everyone does mistakes. So it's okay to make mistakes. And be kind. Be kind to yourself, to others, everyone around you. Again, that empathy factor comes in, and that really influences your work in a great way. You may not know it, but under the scene, it works. That's it. So wish you guys loads of success and smiles. Now I'm all ears. If you have questions, you can shoot. I think I've already extended the...
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We extended the time. If you have some questions, maybe we'll take just one question. And then what we'll do is I'll request Kartik sir to kind of step out, and then any other student wants to ask a question, you can
I'll
take
be
it
there
outside.
for some time. Feel free to...
Yeah. So any one question that you'd like to go ahead with?
Yeah.
Yeah. Speak loudly so that everyone can hear your question.
People prefer going with allopathy rather than Ayurveda. So, by changing logo, do you think people will buy more products?
Okay. They may not. The thing is, you are providing a choice in front, and you are conveying the benefits which the other person is intelligent enough to compare and evaluate and make their own choice. But the thing is, if you see, why do you think that is one is more popular than the other? Probably because it's been exposure is more over the years. Everyone kind of tends to just go with what is popular on and what is familiar. Whereas the other one may not be familiar, and therefore not many people go for it. But if you can address some part of it, why is it not popular? Probably because it's just not out there. Probably it is out there, but in a very shabby form, so people think that these are, I don't want to really buy this, I prefer the safer option and buy this. So if you can enhance that appeal, enhance the communication that product or whatever conveys, that might definitely help someone make a choice, or someone at least you know buy once just to try, and then depending on the merit of the product they might stick and make repeat purchase. But just by changing a packaging or a logo, it's not a magic thing, but you are making it possible for the probability of someone trying that out, you are increasing that probability.
Thank you. It's a small
Thanks.
token of appreciation from our side. Thank you so much. I think the session was amazing. We started the day today with a session by an academician, and she was talking about the different areas within design, and she was explaining at a conceptual level. But what I really loved about Kartik's session was that he actually explained a lot of the same things, but with real world examples. And I think as people, we relate to examples really well. We understand concepts better when it's not just saying that, okay, 1 + 1 = 2, but I'm actually showing you an example of how that is actually happening. So when you see an example, you see a brand, you see someone that's actually done that, you can actually make sense. And what I really like, Kartik, is how you said that design is actually a multifaceted expression. It's not just a unidirectional process. There are so many factors that come into play. It's life is about that mix. You need to get the mix right, the variables right, to make something truly admirable and awesome. So thanks, Kartik. The session was amazing. Thank you.